Welcome to Wake, a cold reading of James Joyce's Finnegans Wake, just to hear it out loud. Join Toby Malone and TJ Young, along with some special friends, as we puzzle our way through what we once thought was an unreadable book to produce a surprisingly listenable podcast.
Hi there, Toby Malone here, co-host of the Wake podcast. I hope this finds you well. We're about a year out from when I recorded the bunch of introductions for the compilation videos of various seasons of Wake, and I got a comment on one of our videos a couple of weeks ago now from a user saying, "Okay, you did book one, you did book two, you did book three. Where's book four?" And that's a good point. I didn't include it last year because book four is only it was only two episodes. Book four is literally a single chapter. But good point. If you we have completists out there, and Lord knows I love a completist. um, uh, so I thought I would give you a little introduction to put this together. If you haven't listened to the previous episodes, this last chapter is probably not, going to make much sense. But if you have listened through book one, two, and three, here is book four. We'd love to get your feedback on the podcast on either our YouTube or on Spotify or on our social media at WakePod, and we really appreciate all the support. So here we go. This is the recording of our reading of book four, which is two episodes, quite a short one compared to the others, and I hope you enjoy. Sand yes, sand yes, sand yes, calling all downs to Dane. Array, surrection. Are weaker to the walled bluden world. Oh rally, oh rally, oh rally, flanksty, oh rally. To what life like thine of the bird can be. Seek you so many matters. Haze sea east to Oceania. Here, tass, pat, staff, waff, have, blove, and rutter. The smog is lofting. And already the old man has gotten up on other times to lightenate the bonamores. Son fine, som fin avant. Good morning. Have you viewed Piers Aub? Thane ours are gone. We have used yours up since we have used no other. Calling all Danes to dawn. The old breeding-breasted commonwealth of natures to foin McCooligan. The leader, securus jubilens albas temorum. Clogan slogan, quake up dim dusky, wook doom for husky, and let Billy Fegan be bawled out of his humiliation. Confidentian to churchin, we have highest gratifications in announcing to pew tutor publicums of praetation praety users, Genghis is goon for you. A hand from the cloud emerges, holding a chart expanded. The ever-sower of the seeds of light to the cold old souls that are in the dominatory of Deathmut after the night of the carrying of the world of Newers and the night of making mess, to cuddle up in a coddle pot, Poo Newsit, lord of risings in the yonder world of Tamplin, top triumphant, speaketh.
Va, sovereign sir, scatterbrand to the renweller of the sky, thou who agnetest. Da, Arcturus coming. Be, verb unprincipate through the transitive spaces. Kilt by Celt, shall kith again with kin again. We elect for thee, Tertangle. Sphadasia salve. We Durbliners thee adjure. Away the Margan from our Astamite, through dim dom dun, till light kindling light has led we hope us, but hunt me the journey on, itinerant, the Cal his course, amid the cemetery of Somnionia, even unto Heliotropolis, the castellated, the enchanting. Now, if soon one felched a twirl, and sooman and less, what et watter we could, while you was saying Morcut Mary or Smud, Brunt, and Robinson, make sunlike, sylph this warful Doon's Batam. Yet clarify begins it. Whither the spot for? Whence the hour by? See but, Leverhulme, take in. Rest passers should be persecounted. Qui statbat mines quantum qui stabat piens. As of yours, we are new. Our shades of minglings mingle them, and help horizons. A flashk and, rashk, it shall come to pashk, as hearth by hearth leaps live. For the tenderest stock, with the rosinos top, I'll hence hill, club pubber, in general stores and. Our trith through woods, look the brathwacker will be the listed after, and he larruping sparks out of the teeny ones. The spear spit of dawnfire to touches ain't the table stone ath, the centre of the great circle of the macroliths, of Hellas Bellis in the Bohemian brush. On this our peneplean by Fan Galovu bite, whence the horned cairns erge. Stands to Stansted, a florin froen, idols of Isthmians, overwear, gaunt, grey, ghostly gossips growing grubber in the glow. Past now pulls. Cur one beast, even Dane the Great, may trespass, with sniffer he snout, impursuant to bylegs. Edhar's chuckle humoristic. But why pit the cur afore the knocks? Let shrill their dwern Gallus, Han and she how the Sasquehenna makes ducks runs at crooked. Once for the Chattermail, twice for the Poither, and once, twice, thrice for the Wather. So an indelible yellow meat turns out the invasible blacketh. Quat thirves to rob with the Aleman, sailor, a turkeyed trot to sea point. Pierrotes means Noel's bar and Julas punch, by George. If you've tipper-taps in your head or starting curses, Taylor, you're silenced at Henge Keoledge, Exmouth, Ostbees for Ost, boys, each and one, death banes and the quick quoke. But life wends and the Doms spake. Wake? Hill of the Hafid, knock and knock, Nashath gives relief to the landscape as he staunches his Lamu song unto Pon Gazelle Channel and the bride of the burn. Shinhai Shake is dotter than ever for a damsay wed her father. Lambell on the up! We may pleasantly heal the geoglyphs 29 ways to say good a bet, and wassing see soon live. With the 40 wonks winking, please me or much as too, with her tup. It's a long, long ray to Newelglen's premiere. For corpse, for steamfish, for confects, for bouillons, for smear sausage, for patates, for streaked pig, for men, for limericks, for waterfowls, for wagsfalls, for louts, for cold airs, for late trams, for curries, for curlews, for leekses, for orphanales, for tunnygulls, for clear goldways, for lung fortes, for moony haunts, for fair moneys, for coffins, for tantrums, for aramores, for waglugs, for rogues comings, for sly goings, for lax matches, for home smeethses, for quail smeeches, killalooly, tep, cumled, cromlech, top. Wisely for us, old Brutton has withdrawn his theory. You are absolutely right, aslumnum. But this is perporteroging, you poor paps. Namantane. Sure it's not revying your. Amslu. Good also. We seem to understand a pad velum tomes muniment, arans ducar, among horseshoes, charioteers, and etc. gonenius, bargain bout barrows, of fur and omner, since, even if, or although, in double preposition as in triple conjunction, how the modern research in the topaea that was Mankylands has gone to prove from the Picalava present to the Maramara Melma that while a successive generation has been in the deep, deep, deeps of deeper Aras, buried hearts, a rest here.
Conquer Duke Hill do, Svap. So let him slap the sap, till they take down his shatter from his shap. He cansis, Phil stap. Thus Farklax the friar bird, listening, Sid, the child, the natural child, the owned by the names of I, Woodby was kidnapped at an age of recent probably, possibly remoter, or he conjured himself from sight by slide at hand, for which the Terranton is lemon Limorange at Milk Goat fair messes, in full dogged his, sawed on a fall, pat the hundering, blundering, dunder funder of blunder sunders manhood. Behold, he returns, renaisscent, fincarinate, still foretold around the hearthside at Matane effect, hail chimmers, ears kind, faux permanent, thumb in his mouth, a wike in wave resurging into trest, victus pointus hester, hesterness, frostfath of solace, fram choicest of wheels with Warman and Sogans till Banbar, burial arranging, under Articles 39 of the Reconstitution, by the Lord's order of the Canon Consecranable, uh, earth lost that we thought him, Pesternost, the non-known warrior, from Tumbarumba Mountain, in presence of whole Lancelot, Forby, all the races, sire of Leary subs of Dub, the dig gains, wooden hedge, as the hang out at, with Spanish oil full his engelach, the sauce nug nom sol fidol salamera monderman. The bigger Brucer, Furt and Fort, Gunner, the Gunnings, Gund, one of the two or three four fivest fellow a bloke could in holiday crowd encounter, benedicted by the barrel, kindlerkins, lids off, a roche, an oxmaster, a sort of heaps, a pamphletus, uh, Vendivant, Nivincivini, a hygienic contrivance so called from the editor, the thick of your thigh, your knocks, quiet, talking to the vicar's joy and ruth, the grin, void, and glue been broken by the Mayboyle guards, he, when no crane of Elga is heard, about to speak his lay, without links, without impediments, with Gigantoragiris, with free flaw for forms, parasama to himself, Atman as Everest, whom otherwise because no parlar as of old, but as of young and palatine, Whitelock not lacking, nor temper Solion, though he appears as funny color Estutator some, but a quiet, a big bug after the Delias. Place in spectrum sarcent, also the hollow ceased ex cavement, astronomically flabba-figured, as Jabud Vispa Vipa foresaw of him. The last half versicle repurchasing his pond word. Soren split, and patty patched, and before and to finish our pafun of a pafan colliding and cadle Mick White, sure, straight, slim, sturdy, serene, um, Cythenical Swift.
By the Antar of Iasus, Ruse made him worthily achieve inherited wish. The drops upon that mantle rained never around Fingal. Goot, Laughlin's salts will make a new man if any worn. So, la, Lamfada's arm it has coincidences. You mean to see we have been having a sound night's sleep? You may so. It is just about to roly holy over. Sab, snap, snap. Of all the stranger things that ever not even in the hundred and badst pagians of unthousand and once nice or in edis and oddus bokes of tome, dyke and hollow to be have happened, the entireties of lives living being the one substance of streams becoming totaled in told telled, and telled told in tittle tell tattle. Why? Because, grace be gad and all giddy gadgets, in whose words were the beginnings, there are two signs to turn to, the yest and the yist, the right side and the wrong side, feeling the slip and walking up and so farth. Why? On the sword side, we have the Moskiosk Gin Past with its twin adjacencies, the bathhouse and the bazaar, alla halla halla. On the Spond side is the Alcovan and the Rose Garden, boony naughty, all pura puthery. Why? One's a pure puss, a story about breed and brig feeds and pericombating and coosh cook couch, and others is of tholes and oob-worn buyings, dolings and chafferings and heat, contests and enmity. Why? Every talk has his stay. Vidnis Shava Sanjivana, and all the dreams perhapsing under Lux Loop at last are through. Why? It is a sort of a swig swag, systemy dystemy, which ever a body you ever anywhere at all does. Why? Such me. And helps a drowsy. Look! A shaft of chivalry in the act, analancinant. Cold sleuth, vans, where did thoughts come from? It is infinitesimally fevers. Resty fever, risey fever, a coranto of aria, sleeper awakening, in the smalls of one's back presentiment, jip and again jeep, a flash from a future of maybe mayability through the winder of a wonder in a wilder as a welter is a warble of a warble is a world. Tom. It is perfect degrees Excelsius. A jaladew still stilleth. Cloud lay, but mackerel are. Anemone activicent, the temperature is returning to mornal. Humid nature is feeling itself freely at ease with the all fresco. The vervain is to herald as the grass administers. They say in effect, they really say, you have eaten fruit. Say wheat. You have snacked mid a fish. Tell wish every those personal place objects, if none things wheresoever's, and they just done being doing, being in a dromo of todos, without an abound to be your trowers. Forswandled. You held him by the tap of the tang. Not a salutary syllable sound is since. Instead for a steer adrift with a draught. Noctambulum bumus wander towards the nil. Victorious Neanzus, Alberth's Neantus. It was a long, very long, a dark, very dark, an all but unend, scarce undurable, and we could add mostly quite various, and somewhat tumbling night. Endi, he Cindy, Dew, thee is going at gone, thee is coming to come, greets to Gaston, high to morning, Dormady destiny, doom is the fast. Well down, good other. Now day, slow day, from delicate to divine devices. Padma, brighter and sweetster, this flower that bells, it is our hour or risings. Tickle, tickle, lotus spray, till here next. Adia. Take thanks, thanksdom, famous, in that European end meets ind. There is something supernoctural about whatever you called him it. Pan Pan and Vin Vin are not alone Van Van and Pin Pin in your Tamal without tears, but simply solely they are they. This utter followeth that odder fellow. Him Kim. Old yeasterloaves may be as stale as a stub, and the pitcher go to aftoms on the wall. Mildew, murk, leak, and yarn now want the bad that they lied on. And your last words to date in comparative acoustomology are going to tell stretch of a fancy through strength towards joyance, adiantance, where he gets up. A lay for a lay, a threat for a throat.
Tim, do them in your sat loca, hearing, the herb, it orbs. Then's now and now's then intense continuant. Heard. Who having has he shall have had. Here, upon the thuds tokes tuck, Chim, and it will exactly so fewer hours by so many minutes of the ope of the Deeren, of the Senite, of the Mernied, of the year of the age of the Man de Manvantora, of Cross Guy and Little Lady, a huggy bum, and our wee mother, Actaman house true with, and their childer, and their nepers, and their nepers' childers' nepers, and their chattels, and their severance, and their cognants, and their ilks, and their oughts, and their everything that will be was theirs. Much obliged. Time are they. But where, though clerk? Whither a clonk? Vartman, see you not sue the faff they funded, our vatars that ard in Himmel, Harud Bathar Namas, the Gau, the Seatar, the Tiagara, the Leofant, and even Thirst was Arthar Vettels, mid trefoil slipped the sable rampart, hoof, pada pudu pedding, on fatter fotter fut, we are, signifying, if tongues may tolken, that primeval conditions have gradually receded, but nevertheless the emplacement of solid and fluid, having to a great extent persisted through intermittences of solemn fulminance, solemn nuptialism, solemn sepulture, and providential divining, making possible and even inevitable, after his a time has a tense haves and have nots hesitancy at the place and period under a consideration a socially organic entity of a millenary, military, maritory, monetary, morphological circumformation in a more or less settled state of equionomic, equilibrium. Gammon, Gedge. No mo nor for me, lest that not be. Agnes Manlake, you just gat a tash of army on the stomach to the agar at anchor. Aquotinks, seaworthy, lots thankful you. Polite pointsins, there's a tavern in the tarn. Tip, take Tamo Timone's topical. Tip, brown yet Noland. Tip, advert. Where? Como non li bolo siro homnibant, even electing, the dart of desire has gored the heart of secret waters, and the poplarest wood in the entire district is being grown at present, eminently adapted for the requirements of panic-stricken humanity, and, between the goings up and the whole of the comings down, and the fog of the cloud in which we toil, and the cloud of the fog under which we labour, bomb the things to be dom, so that, beyond indicating the locality, it is felt that one cannot with advantage add a very great deal to the aforegoing by what, such as it to be, follows. Just mentioning, however, that the old man of the sea and the old woman in the sky, if they don't say nothings about it, they don't tell us lie. The gist of the pantomime, from Cannibal King to the property horse, being slumply and slopely, to remind us how, in this dreary world of ours, Father Times and Mother Spacies boil their kettle with their crutch, which every lad and lass in the lane knows. Hence.
Polycarp Pool, the pool of Enelavis, Saras the saft as, of Mu Dewy Marge, atween Deltas Pessimum and Sagittarianus Terion, wherein once we lave tis alv and vale, many hahing here from Hairwather of Poodle Bridges and a Passabed, the river of lives, the regenerations of the incarcerations of the emanations of the apparitions of fun and nin and cletatabola, the condomain of the alieni and a caressed aired race, infestor of Libnud Ocean, Moy Lemore let it be, where all brugget near Sir tracking Vigi net Nisi glad sighted her Liffian fall, and a teen digging harrow turned the first sod. Sluss, Cotterect, God speed the blow. Incidentally, 'tis believed that his harpened before Gags feign, for it has to be over this booty spooch. Though some hours to the wester, the ex-colonial houses preterpost heiress is to return unto the outstretchedness of Dwyer O'Michael's loin sprung, the bluster busted pike head which he had hewn in hers prolonged laughter words. There an almondry begins to green, serene scene for love's seat, as we know that should she, for by essentials assistance is his law, so it make all. It is scanted to Vittelba, and her little white bloomskins, twitter sky trimmed, and hobgoblins hanky panks. Saxon Flaherty, our ancestors thought so direly on now they're going so over to Anglican, free free of Judy's dright chappers. There too a slobs, immemorial, the only in all swap, but so bare, so bolder, brag sagging, such a burbly broom show that of Brendan's the White Alfred is owed to have at least so sir so butch up uprum homo sicris Elochlanesis, his show place at Lembi, old woomy ways, poof, but while gleam with gloom swan here and there, this shame rock and that whimsy platter tell Pudheen steal the pogie and his party Molly Vardant and good Broomimish aura. This place is a proper and his feast a feral for cardinal communal. So be would who would celebrate the holy mystery upon or that the pilgrim from many lands beat hand, the calm leaved hut caged by the look whose glom is sure he means Bisney Glils to impalm mover. A naked yoged priest, clothed of sundust, his okie dokie with fondest levers, offrend to the Ewan of her Owen. Tasyam Kuru Salalakruyami. Pufuf. Bring about it to be brought about, and it will be. Look, our lake lamented, that great lack, the sight of ease is Isisat at last, urban and orbital, through seep forms umber under wasteris of Erie. Lao, huo, hui, dere maidens, astorares asai, earthsight to this heaven. Hail singles, the daughters of the cliffs, responsin, long some the Sampshire coast, from thee to thee, thou art it thou, that thou'st there, the like the near, the liker nearer. Oh, so say a family, a band, a school, a clan, a girl, fifteens and but fourteens by novens on Andor Vantas by Octatis Ayand Decadenkas by a lunary with last alone, whose every has hindered her different from the similes with her sight. Sicut campololia pet petalififerentis, thy choral and carol round Botany Bay, a dweam of dose innocent dearly dirls, Kevin, and they all citon voices about sing music as Kevin, he, only he, it'll he, the whole clangalade. Oh, S. Wilhelminias, S. Gardenias, S. Phoebius, S. Vesladras, S. Clarindas, S. Emicolas, S. Dolores Delphins, S. Perlanthoras, S. Erins Gray, S. Ada Minervas, S. Rodaminas, S. Ruga Rugdagara, S. Dremakumatars, S. University, S. Intergithemias, S. Misha Lavalsis, S. Chernstri, S. Kluan Eskmes, S. Bella Vistras, S. Santamontas, S. Ringsinguns, S. Hedonin Drowns, S. Glockenvias, S. Wandenfrias, S. Thomas Besses, and Trim, Unload, Pipette, S. Lolistotolis, prayerfulness. You, that is you, where shall one name it eat? The mind, the Mindiongias have tinged togethering. Ascend out of your bed, carven of a trunk, the shrine. Catlin's is kitchen. Soros cast my brone. You must, etc., acquirate the intrigate all the archpelicans, the astrologer wobbly by Tolan, who farshook our showers from Newer Island has signed to you in the now our mandate. Melancia waits. Be smart. One seekings, not the little slender, not the broad roundish near the little slender, not the fair side full featured, to the leeward and the broad roundish, but indeed and in need the coralling, perfect proportioned, flower flecked, shapely, high hued, delicate features swaying to the windward of the fair side full featured.
Was that in the air about when something is to be said for it, or is it someone in particular who will somewhereize for the whole anyhow? What does Combe gin? Tell his hidings clearly. A wood to gooder. Is his moral tax still his best of weapons? How about a little more Goling Gould? Rowland's tongue he Gatineau must. It is the voice of Roga. His face is the face of a son. Be thine the silent hall, O Jarama. A virgin the one shall mourn thee. Roga's stream is Solent's, but Cruna is in Adestance. The ass of the O'Dwyer of Grey Glens is a bro to bays afield in his terroirs of the Potterton's four coroners, the reeks around the burly hearth. When visited by an independent reporter, Mike Portland, to borrow burning the latter man's restaurant, as so is called the Gortan in Questure, he mikes the following for the Durban Gazette, first coming issue. From a correspondent, anywhere, Deemsday, boss of upper and lower Baggots trade, Kaiwark, may he live for river. The game's funeral at Valley Temple. Saturnite's pomps, exhibiting the caricature of a hearse, revealed by Oscar Camarade. The last of Dutch Schulds, perhumps. Pipe and Dreamcloose. Uncovers pub history. The outrage at length. Affected mob follows in religious Sullivans. Reinvention of vestiges by which they drugged the buddy. Movie figure on in scenic section by Patathicus. And there, from out of the sooty, misty London, along the Canavan route, that is, with the years gone, mild beam of the wave his polar bearing, sterner among stars, trust to Thena, and you tread true turf, comes the sorter, Mr. Herr Hansen, talking all the ways in himself of his hopes to fall in amongst a merry fowl of maidens, happy go home from the dance, his nickel already in his naxy fob, a passable compatriot comparly of the Grimstad galleon, old Pears Freeze, feed up to the Noxer with their geese and peas and oats upon a trencher, and the toimes he'd lust in wombing, but with that smile like a grace of beckoning over his egg lips of the sun's shoon shine. Here's hearing you in a guest mask, ladder-man, and such an improvement, as roight as the mail and as fat as a fuddle. shoon the pust. A penny for your thoughts abouts. Tay, tibby, tanny, tummy, tasty, toasty, tay. Batches for baker who baxters our bread. Oh, what an ovenly odour! Butter, butter, bring us this day's our maily bag. But receive me, my friend sheets, from the emerald dark winter long. For dis is the dos for Isle the Downs, and das is the dus as Singen singers, what the hard-working, straight-walking, start-stamping, securely sealing officials, who trow to form our GMPs past muster, generally shave for she and slew for slee, when butting their head to the pillow for a night-shared naked shift with the altar girl they tuck in for a sweepstake. Dutiful Wheelker for his hides of March. Have you the time? Hands a hike? Heard you the crime, Senny boy? The man was giddy on Letty's, on the jury of Jewry. He persuaded, withered with intrenious midgeries, dagos, tea times, shadows, nocturnes, or Samoans, if well-stocked filler-outers, plush fever frowns with dopey chonks, and this, that, and the other pigskin or muffle kinkles taking a pipe course or doing an anguish, seen to his fleece in after his foul, when Dr. Chart of Greek Chaucer's treat, he changed his backbone at a sitting. He had not the declination at what with his foos is wet with the phase, but so far as hanging a goobs on the proceedings, where then the lag allows it might see anything after darks, which the dears alones they sees in the darkest day is snuffing of the wind up, debbling, grant events, hyacinths with heliotrops, not one full vixen freakings, but double decoys. It is a label iction on the port of the Catholic Church and a summum most atoll for it. Where is that blinkety blanketer, that crowned of a peeler, that sunt of a hunt want foxes good men? Where are he our loved among many? But what does Comgem the Fostard, Tyro, a Torah, the novened iconostas of his bluey-grained vitriols, but begins it in faint to light his legend? Let Phosphoron proclaim, Peachy, peachy, say he that saw him that saw. Man shall sharp run, do a get him. Ask no more, Jerry mine, Roger's voice. No pice sorkabatcha. The bog which puckarooed the posy, the vine branch of Herriman Heber on Bregia's plain, where Teffia lies, is leaved invert and fructed proper, but the Kyoblick hatches end not open yet for hourly rince's mess. Reed Higgins, Cairns, and Egan. Malthus is yet looked in close. Within, how swathed in their answer alcove makes therein. Besokers loiter on, and primer libatory solisates of limon sodias will be absorbable. It is not even yet the engine of the load with hailed morries full of crates, you matin mummer, for Dombell Dums. Sure, and 'tis not them. The Greek sideral Ruthway, as it happens, will soon be starting a smooth with its first single Hastencraft. Danny buzzes instead of the Violact coloured milk train on the farty kecked plan run with its endless galaxion of rotator rattlers, and the Smultru now Eldorens remember him as the screen of the service, Subrubbery Bess. Also, the wagon wobblers are still yet ever due to precipitate after night's combustion. Aspect Seamus Rogua or Taciat and Hagiographici Canat Ecclesia, which Aubrey our first shall show. In attendance, who is will play that's what's that to that what's that what. Oh yes, oh yes. The primace of the Gauls, proto-notorious. I am as I am. Mitro generand in this free state on the air is now a boil to blow a gale warning. In operation Ireland's Iot, Meganesia, Habitant, and the 1,000 incels, Western and Ostern approaches.
Of Kevin, of increate God the servant, of the Lord Creator, a filial fairer, who given to the growing grass took to the tall timber, slippery Dick the springy healer, as we have seen, so we have heard, what we have received, that we have transmitted, thus we shall hope, This we shall pray till, in the search for the love of knowledge, through the comprehension of the unity in altruism, through stupefaction, it may again how it may again, shearing aside the four weathers, and passing over the dainty daily dairy, and dropping by the way the lapful of live coals, and smoothing out Nelly Nettle and her lad of metal, full of stings, fond of stones, friend of Gnugnorn's bones, and leaving all the messy to look after our douche, the miracles, death and life are these. Yad, procreated on the ultimate island of Ireland in the encyclical Irish archipelago, come their feast of pre-created holy white-clad angels, whom among the christener of his, voluntarily poor Kevin, having been granted the privilege of the priest procreated portable alter cum balneo, while espousing the one true cross, invented and exalted in celibate matrimony at matin chime arose and west from went and came in alb of cloth of gold to our own midmost Glendalough Livet by archangelical guidance, where a middle of meeting waters of river Hysia and Essia river, on this one of either's lone navigable lake, piously Kevin, lauding the triune Trishagion, amidships of his conductible altar superbath, rafted centripetually, diaconal servant of orders Hibernarian, midway across the subject lake's surface to its supreme epicentric lake Hyle, whereof its lake is the ventrifugal principality, whereon by prime powerful in knowledge Kevin came to where its centre is among the circumfluent watercourses of Yiscafiana and Yuscafiuna, the Enslide lakelet, Islanding the Lacustrine islet, whereupon the beached raft subdiaconal bath proper altar, with oil extremely anointed, accompanied by prayer, holy Kevin bided till the third morn hour, but to build a rubric pentinellital honey beehive hut, in whose enclosure to live in fortitude, acolyte of cardinal virtues, whereof the arenary floor, most holy Kevin, excavated as deep as to the depth of a seventh part of the one full fathom, which excavated venerable Kevin, anchorite, taking counsel, proceeded towards the lakeside of the islet shore, where at several times he, eastward genuflectuating, in entire obedience, at sex noon, collected Gregorian water sevenfold, and with Ambrosian Eucharistic joy of heart, as many times receded, carrying that privileged altar, unacumque bath, which severally 7 times into the cavity excavated, elector of water levels, most venerable Kevin, then effused, thereby letting there be water where there was theretofore dry land, by him so congregated, who now, confirmed a strong and perfect Christian, blessed Kevin, exorcised his holy sister water, perpetually chaste, so that, well understanding, she should fill to mid height his tubathalathar, which handbath tub, most blessed Kevin, ninthly enthroned, in the concentric centre of the translated water, where amid, when violent Vesper veiled, Saint Kevin, Hydrophilos, having girded his sable cappa magna, as high as to his cherubical loins, at solemn compline sat in his seat of wisdom, that handbath tub, wherever after, recreated Doxa Insularis of the Universal Church, keeper of the door of meditation, memory extempore proposing, and intellect formally considering, recluse, he meditated continuously, with seraphic ardour, and primal sacrament of baptism, or the regeneration of all man by effusion of water. Ye!
Bishops, bevel to rock's right, Sarver buoy, extinguish, Nuatura bene. The rare view from the three bins under the bald heaven is on the other end. asking your Blitzarm on Demon and Blastoon, something to write Hume about. They were erected in a previous century as a hidden fine coops, and if you know your Bristol and your trudged the trolley ways and evil turns of that old cobbled city, you will sort officially scribble the metal penny Knox gore. Whether they are Franklins by name also has not been fully probed. Their design is a who sold word of the charming details of light and dark are fresh from the femininity which breeds content. O Farax Kupla, ah fair pair, fairy pair, the first exploder to make his ablations in these parks was indeed that lucky mortal which the monster trial showed on its first day out. What will not Archie paper and antedidentingly inked in penmark push per sample prof covertly faulted, when style, stink, and stigmatophorn are on are of one sum in the same person? He comes out of the soil very well after all just where old Trollifer is to come shuffling along soon. Paniquane starts showing of her pequella talents. Away wrong, Wandler cirking of a right writer, rut for his plain utterrock souks, appealed to by her fancy claggers. You plied that poker, gamesies, swell as I did, while there were flickers to the florist. He may be humpy, nay, he may be dumpy, but there is always something racy about, say, a sailor on a horse. as
It's
soon
true.
as as soon as we sail him geen, we gates a surprise. He brings up Tuffatura, uh, Tuffa, and he is how, and that is how we get to messes and masses. The old Marin tale. We vertus vetri, not notifiu, dim lustrous priorly, magistrate max moletry, and lub lubdability learned. Faxed. Take off that wise head. Great sinner, good sooner. It is in effect the motto of the Mac Cowlell family. The gloved fist, skirman handsaker, was entracted into the scordatal tree before the 4th of the 12th, and it is even a little odd all for horologists Gary still gonging restaged Jacob von de Bethel, smoggling behind his pipe, his SV of message posthumia, latling out his borrowed chaffing dish before symbolizing the apostles at every hours of changeover. The first and last riddle rattle of the anniversary, when is a nam not a nam, wherens it is a. Watch. Heroes Highway, where our fleshers leave their boingings and every bob and joan to fill the bumper fare. It is their signal of old Championsealed to seek the shades of his retirement, and for young Chapin lasses to tear around and tease their partners' love of to fun at Finnegan's wake. And it's high, titly high TT, that my dig pressed in your dag see, gnug of old gnig, gnig, meeg, browly. I bag your burden, mess at these knees, thee is me. We have caught oneselves, Sves messes, in sums incongruity, complex of hepapunhurish marriage, from whose I must sublimate. A plorug, my ing, executes. Still so solvi, while till tt.
Ha! Gaia grinning gains in Schlimmeninging. As summer went, spring falls abated. Hail ring of darkness, snowly reassessing. Thund lightning thund into the dim below star departamenti wither out. Soon hissed, soon missed, to the hot to hill from the hollow, soul-sking the frist, attempted by the admirable captive Bunting and Lieutenant Coronel Blair, will processingly show up above Tumplin Bar, whereupon he was much jubilated by Burgmeister Dick Fog of Isoles, now Isolde, looking most plussed with, Exhib 39, a clout-capped sun bubble acanaponied from his bequined torse. Up! Blanchardstown, Muse Peppers pleads Coppel. Gracest goodness, heave Mency upon us. Grand old man Button, give your bowlers a rest. It is a mere meanorism of this vague of visibilities, mark you, as accorded by moisturologist of the Brehon's Corporation for the advancement of science. Because, my dear, mentioning a bit under the breath as in pure, what bunkum, essence, there have been dissolving forenest, you just the draper, the two drawpers as sisters, and the three droopers assessors, confraternizers, who are, of course, Uncle Arth, your two cozers from Nice and conjunct a bit now, our own familiars, Billy Healy, Ballyhooly, and Bully Howley, surprised in an indecorous position by the Sigurd Sigerson Sphygmomanometer Society for Bled Prushes. Knightsmore. Haven't I? Ha ha! This Mr. Ireland? And alive? Aye, boss. The cry of Stina chills the vitals of slumbering off the mother has been pleased into the harms of old Saliciters. Measurers soon and soon, but the voice of Elina gladdens the cockly-hearted dreamerish for that magic moaning, with its ching-chang chaps, shoegay, cow-low, milky moochie, bringing Becca bros the brew with the future in it. Sawest? Note? Niets. I think I saw to mum or some such. A kind of thing like all Traylog, then probably it resembles a pelvic or some kind then props, an acute-backed quadrangle with slant off Ohanhenth, a wench you may cuddler, lying with her Royal Irish upper shoes among the thick leaves. Signs are on of a mere by token that will still to be becoming upon this there once a here was world, as the day lives unfolding them. In the wake of the black shape, Nattenden sort, when at hindled first and hundled firth, the week of wakes is out and over, as a week woking front innumerable ashes, unto fierce force fuming, tam the Phoenician wakes. Passing. 1. We are passing. 2. From sleep we are passing. 3. Into the Wykewade's world from sleep we are passing. 4. Come hours. Be ours. But still, dire, and stay. It was also agreeable in our synagogue clutchless, touring the no place like, no time like absolute, mixing up Pennyvaughan populos with the Magnamore gentries, Lloyd Hare mercenary blookers, with Boydskin pigtails and goop-schlipped Gwendolines, with duffy-eyed Dolores, like so many improbables in their poor suit of the impossible. With Mater and after please with Matamuru, and after please stop with Matamaraluka, and after stop do please with Matamaraluka Joni. And another des dapalas, he will be longing after the Grogam Greys, and Wysing Cheta Auloli, he will level out to the minstrel tramp pleasure be. She-flower Rosina, younger she-flower fruit amaryllis, youngest flower fruity flawn salicil or silly sal, and house with heaven roof occupantes their continuatingly at traverse of its militudinous windows, Ryko coursing themselves as stained glass on stone gloss in plain English Winds Hotel. Branchards at Bulbeck, Oldbooth, Sassendale, Jorsey, Uppygard, Munderlond, Appitot,
Bracky Tweet with Hockey Villa, Focky Villa, Hilly Willy, and Walhall. Hooja who manages the thing of Viking, Obning Shotley, when the messenger of the risen sun, see other Oriel, shall give to every seeable a hue, and to every hearable a cry, and to each spectacle his spot, and to each happening her auram, the while we are waiting for him.
Muta.
Quod des nunc fumiste volvuns endomino?
Juva.
It is old head of kettle puffing off the top of the morning.
Muta.
He ought to be thoroughly well ashamed of himself for smoking before the high host.
Juva.
Dies is Dominus master and commandment, illi tonabras.
Muta.
Dimonest Aster, and I could perceive amongst the gatherings who ever they walk in process?
Juva.
Kubada, it is the Christem Thlander, with his porters of bonzos, pom-pommy plonky plonk, the Gary Wallers, money overing, the cab-rattled field of slain.
Muta.
Pongo de Banza! And I would certain in druidful scatterings, one piece tall chap, he stand one piece, same place.
Juva.
Bullachilly, he is fundamentally theosphasgusted over the horse proceedings.
Muta.
Petrificationibus, O Horild Harofar, who his dickhuns now re-erexes from underneath the memorial orlum.
Juva.
Believe firmly, believe. Fing, fing, king, king.
Muta.
Uloverlum? Fulgitigutio aegis ridonum teniet.
Juva.
Relentlessly, till the tip of his ziff, and the ubidentia of the Savium is at Urvix Phenicticus.
Muta.
I solely smiles the supremest with such for a leery on his rugular lips.
Juva.
Bitch botchum, Ihebidime. He has helped his croon on the Berkeley by, but he has holf his crown on the Arisian Generalissimo.
Muta.
Skulker salute, the twily velade is thus then perildi cynical?
Juva.
Ut vivat volumen sic pereat por adusas.
Muta.
Having money on stable cert?
Juva.
Tempt to outsider.
Muta.
Sook, he's quaffs. What?
Juva.
Sec, water, wet.
Muta.
Ad piabel et pluribel?
Juva.
At win, warman og sengs.
Muta.
So that when we shall have acquired unification, we shall pass on to diversity. And when we shall have passed on to diversity, we shall have acquired the instinct to combat. And when we shall have acquired the instinct to combat, we shall have passed back to the spirit of appeasement?
Juva.
By the light of the bright reason which day sends to us from the high.
Muta.
May I borrow that horde wander baffle from you, old rubberskin?
Juva.
Here it is, and I hope it's your worming pen, Erin Monker. Shoot! Rhythm and colour at Park Mooting. Peridos last in the Grand Natural. Velivision Victor. Dub's new stage old-time turf tussle. Recalling Winnie Willie Widger. 2 draws. Heliotope leads from Harem. 3 ties. Jockey the Ropper. Jerks Jake the Rape. Padrock and Bookley chat. And here are the details.
Tunk. Buy me by, Bullocky Vampus, Tappany Bobs, Topside Joss, Pigeon Fella, Balkily, Archdruid of Ishlish, Chinchin Joss, and in the his heptochromatic, 7-hued, septicolored, Roy yellow green Len Garen mantle finish, he show along the his Mr. Guest Patholic with all Belgon him and whose throat hum with a same time all the his Casa groaner fellas of Grey Fairies family. He fast all time, what time all him monks fellas with same patholic quanium speaking ye not speaking no man liberty is. He drink up words, set tomorrow till recover will not. All too many much illusions through photoprismatic Velmenia of hue full panaphonal uh, world spectrum of Lord Jos, the of which Zona Catholic furniture, from mineral through vegetal to animal, not appear to full up uh, together fallen man, then under but one photo reflection of the several iridols granditinians of solar light, that one which that part of it, fruit of Hugh Panapi world, had shown itself, part of fur of Hupan war, unable to absorb absorbably, whereas for Numpa one pura duxt, seer in seventh degree of wisdom, of interest on ten, of savvy inside true inwardness of reality. The Ding Havad and itself id est, all objects on Panpia war, all side showed themselves in true color color coloribus, resplendent with sextuple gloria of light actual retained un, untistentious inside them, obs of Ipawo, ruminant plebloric, stereotypopectius, no catch all the preachy book, the preachy book, um utpium, tomorrow recover things even is not. By me by, vampsy bopsy, tap pad, tap panabolics, topside joss, pigeon fella, Bilky Belky Belkelly sat pet fella on Santes two time him halts healing, which with other words verb grading from lentrius till stridu localarius, and a hung horn golly tisk long thing, while his comprehendurient with diminishing clouded catanisms, augmentioning augmentioning himself in Califeria to vision so through sighty. You anxious melancholic. High, that's height, Uber King Leary, in his fiery grass belong head, all shown color, in sorrel wood, herb green, again, bloker of the his exen colored, home-grown worsted's costume, and his fellow saffron petticoat look same hue of boiled spaces, other thing voluntary mutamuser, he not compy handy, that his golden two breasted torque look just 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 as me like cura cubis more after to pace negative negativisticius, verdant ready rain roof, belonging him, exuber high, uber king Leary, very dead. What he wished to say, spit of super exbrubundancy, plenty laurel leaves, after the commander bumlumpent eyes of most highest ardency star king, same thing like time choppy upon parsley. Alongside that, if pleasure nos displaced taratug, sol los sub bishop pastored, enamel Indian gem and maldecisive finger fondler of high sire sultan emperor, all same like one fellow alvin lentil, on the long side that by undescendants kirkering Viralacious, war-worn Constucius of face butts of high up, big cocky-walkie, sublicissimi autocrat, for that with pure hue glute, intensely saturated one, tinged uniformly, all around side, up and down, very like you second chow of plenty much cynicism hump chumps, ebel bally, sukkot, punk, big seer, reflex of petty padre, wallocking it out, a tumble to take, trippiness to call thing and to call if so is good while. You poor Shirascuro, black and white Paddinger, by this whiz ap- apostera prismatically apo- apotrophied and paralogically paraleased, celestial from principaliest of Eros, Iris man's ruin boon pot before. For begin time, for being time, monk blinkers, time blinged, complementary Merc blankered in the neutralius between the possible vera, vera, veridilitude of the sagger of the probable eruption of the saint. As my Pinquish to me, Wimpin Mellis, gong guests, a hand caught scarf of synthetic shamrag of hymns, hers, seeming such 4-3-2 arrangement, cause heart to be might, saving to Blennerarch, he kneeleth, the great Blennerarch, he kneeleth down, the greatest great Blennerarch, he kneeleth down quiet solemnly. The sound sent simple in the weed wade world of the fire there, the sun and his halo cast on men.
That was thing by Gotter, the thing bog cotton, the very thing begad. Even up to putty bilkily belkily bulkily. Who was for shouting down the shaton on the lamp of Gishi's? Sweating on to stonker and throw his 7, as he shuck his thumping 4 features apt the hoy hop of his odds. Thud. Good safe fire lamp, hailed the Heliots. Gold cell 4 lump, hailed they. Awed. Where thereon the skyfold high, tramp a tramp a tramp. Adi. Per ye come down, dominum nun strom, ye som priestomes, fully hum to whom. To how? Sants and sogs, camps and cobs, kings and carls, tents and taunts. 'Tis gone in far over. So for now, Dalish, poor day, to transfixure shown, feist of tabernacles, Sinopegia come, sham work be in our shining, and let every Chris couple be so cross complementary little egons, yulk and meek in a far bygger pan cosmos, with a haughty ham yum all round. Good struce. Yet is no body present here, which was not there before. Only is order othered, naught is nulled, fuit fiat. Lo, the Lord of Laurens now aurealizing benedictively, when saint and sage have said their say. A space of calypthrous gloom, involucrumines the Perinathian amenta, fungo algaseous, musco felicial, graminopamula plantion, of increasing leviviorius, feelful thinkamelinks, luxuriatating every whence whithersoever among skull hollows and charnel cysts of a weed waste world withered, when Ralph the Retriever ranges to Jaw Road his nuts knuckles, and her thies thighs, one gulp down of the nauseous four-air bark forests oboe boom around, and you're as paint and spick-span as a rainbow. Wreathe the bowel to rid the bowel. No rancure, no rank heat, sir. A mess in amulium chlorid cup. Health, chouse, endless necessity. Arrive, licky puggers, in a poke. The fulgor of the fright fools is olympically optimonious. There is bound to be a love-leg day for mirages in the open. Murnane and Aveling are undertaken to bury that orchard, provided that. You got to make good that breech suit, Seamer. You going to home port home, toiler master. You yet must get up to kill, non-particular. You still stand by and do as hit, private. While for yous, Jasminia, Aruna, and all your likers, affinitively must it be by you elected if Mono Gines his is, or hers Dianda, the tubus, limbosum, and nectarium, owned or graze heifer, Ethel or Bondic, Mopsus or Gracchus, all your horridities will be incessant lament, be coming back from the Enon wish-wash whos, Orme Pierre Lodge, Dune of the Droons, Blanches bountifully, and Night's End made up, every article lathering, leaving several rinsings, so as each rinse results with a parent growl, cuffs for meek and chokers for chic, and a kink in the packs for namby. Forbear, for naught that is his bane, in mornin's lawn. Themes have thimes and habit reburns, to flame in you. Ardour, vigour, forders, order. Since ancient was our living, is impossible to be. Delivered as Kaffirs and culls, and once again overalls, the fittest survivor lives that blued, iron, and storage can make them. Witches all claims, clean. Wenast cleeps, close. And the Mano Miller clipper clappers, noxed, doze. Fincents, a warn. Tuck up those wide shorts, the pink of the busket for sheer give. Peeps, stand up to hard wear and step into style. If you soil may puet guet me preves. For Newman Morm set a marge to the merge of notions. Inintion one's a game.
What is gone? How it ends? Begin to forget it. It will remember itself from every sides, with all gestures and each our word. Today's truth, tomorrow's trend. Forget. Remember. Have we cherished expectations? Are we of liberty to pervasiveness? Why after? What for where? A plain plan lafism, assemblements, a Blani's conglomerate horde, by dem delti deva. Forget. Our whole mole mill willing ficolometer, a tetradama national gaze g- gaze bocration, the Mamaluja, known to every schoolboy scandler, be he Matty, Marky, Lukey, or John Adonk. Auto Kinkatonasikali, pre-provided with a clapper coupling, smelting works, expro- progressive process. For the farmer, his son, and their homely codes, known as egg burst, egg blend, egg burial, and hatch as hatch can, receives through a portal vein and dialectically separated elements to precedent decomposition for the very pet purpose of subsequent recombination, so that the heroicisms, catastrophes, and eccentricities transmitted by the ancient legacy of the past, type by tope, letter from letter, word at word, with sentence of Sundance, since the days of Pliny and column Celis when Cynthia Pervenchi and Margaret swayed over the all too ghoulish and illyrical and enumeratic in our mother nation, all anastromosically assimilated and pre-identified para-ideological ideologically, in fact, the same old game bold atomic structure of our Phineas the Old One, as highly charged with electrons as Hofazards can effective it, may be there for you, Coccolora Laura Lominius, when cup, platter, and pot come piping hot, as sure as herself pits hen to paper and their scribbling scrawled on eggs.
Of cause so, in effect as, dear, and we go on to dirt dump, reverend, may we add majesty, well, we have frankly enjoyed more than anything these secret workings of nature's, thanks ever for it, we humbly pray, and well was really so denighted of this light's time. Muck's rats which bring up about weckers, they will come to no good. Yon clouds will soon disappear, looking forwards at a fine day. The honourable Master Sarmon, they should be first born like he was with the two hangled warpon, and it was between Williamstown and the Mary and Aylesbury on the top of the long car, as merrily we rolled along. We think of him looking at us yet, as if to pass away in a cloud. When he woke up in a sweat beside us, it was to pardon him, Goldilocks, me having an airth, but he daydreamed we had a lovely face for a pultomine. Back we were by the jerk of a beam-stark, backed in Palladay's last, on the brinks of the Wobblish, the man what never put a dram in the swags but milk from a national cow's. That was the prick of the spindle to me that gave me the keys to dreamland. Sneakers in the grass, keep off. If we were to tick off all that Kaffler's head whispers for his accommodation, the Meecraws namely, and their bacon what harmed butter. It's margarine oil. Thin, 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 thin. Strictly it is forbidden by the honorary 10th commandment to shall not bear full sweetness against a neighbour's wiles. What those slimes up the cavern door around you keenan, the lies is coming out on them frecklefully, had the shames to suggest can we ever? Never. So may the low forget him their trespasses. Against Moloid O'Reilly, that huggled Betty Fan, now about to get up, the hardiest that Kulak ever, a not Irinish man called Ervigzen by his first mate. May all similar doubters of our old hame story have that fancy's widming. For a pipe of twist or a slug of Hibernian metal we could let out, and by jing, someone would make a carpus of somebody with the greatest of pleasure by private shootings. And in contravention to the constancy of chemical combinations, not enough of all the slatters of him left for Peter the Picker to make their thrice seventy filths of a man out of. Good wheat, how delitious for the three Sulvans of Dulcie, and what a self-price guest, the two Paris of Monachina, sugars of lead for the Chloras Ashpot's peace, he possessing from a child of highest valency, for our privileged beholdings ever complete hairy of chest, hemps and eye bags, and a pursuance to salesladies' affectionate company. His real devotees, wriggling reptiles, take notice, whereas we exgust all such sprinkling snigs, they are pestituting the whole time, neverwithstanding we simply agree upon the committee of amusance, or could about bring under same notice for it to be able to be seen. About the chorogenal Hun and his knowing the size of an egg cup. First he was a skulks man at one time, and then Clunes fired him through guff. Be sage about sausages. Statistic shows what he cups of teatables. The old firm fat spitters are most eatenly appreciated by Metropolonians, while we should like to drag attentions to our Wilksman's come sensation act, the magnets of our midst being foisted upon by a plethorus of parachutes. Did Speece permit the bad example of a setting before the military to the best of our belief, and the earliest wish of the one in mine was the mitigation of the king's evils, and how he stared up the step after the power of the gate. He giant stand of Manunone, no Brad wishy-washy wathy wanted neither. Once you are ballad proof, you are unperceivable to Haley icy and missile throws. Order now before we reach Rugger's Rush, as we now must close, hoping to St. Lawrence all in the best. Moral. Mrs. Storrs Humphreys. So you are expecting trouble, Pondups from the domestic service questioned. Mr. Storrs Humphreys. Just as there is good and even, Levia, made cheek is a complete blink. Plum, meaning 124 finkers up the hind hose of his R's, whereupon our best again to 111 plus 1001 other blessings will now conclude thus ye puzzles to your great kindest well, for all at trouble to took. We are all at home in old Fintona, thank Dennis for our self's sake, that direst of house bonds will weal be true until love sends so long as we has a pockle full of brass. Impossible to remember persons and improbable to forget position places. Who would pellow his head off to conjure up a, well, particularly mean stinker like fun make called Foon McCraw, brothers, mystery man of the pork martyrs, Forson Girish, Tomothy and Lorcan, the bucket toolers, both are Timsons now, they've changed their correcticals during their blackout. Conan Boyles will pludge the day lives out through him if they are correctly informed. Music meowed Stroh, please. We'll have a brand rehearsal Fing, one must simply laugh. Fingamaging, good lick, swell, this ought to weak him to make up. He'll want all his fury gut murderers to redress him. Gillian, the Gap, the big bad old sprowly old futtering foon, has now stuffed last podding. His funeral will sneak police by creeps o'clock Tuesday. Kingen will come in, also brew beer. Penn's picture at Mansham House, horse garden show in Morning Post as from Boston Transcript. Femels will be pre-adamant as from 28 to 12 to hear that love-laid parson of case of a bald gentle male pour further moracles. Don't forget, the grand funeral will now shortly occur. Remember, the remains must be removed before 8 hours sharp, with earnestly conceived hopes. So help us to witness to this day to hand in sleep from of Mayas days most dutiost.
Well, here's lettering you erroneously anent other clerical fans alleged herewith. I wished I wast be that dumb tyke, and he'd wish it was me yonder heel. How about it? The sweetest song in the world? Our shape as a juvenile being much admired from the first with native copper locks. Referring to the Married Woman's Impropriety Act, as a correspondent paints out that the Suisse Auburn Vogue is hanging down straight, fitting to her innocent eyes. Oh, Felicius Culpos, if all the Macawrals could only handle Virgils like Arms Works Limited. That's Hansel for Goethals. Never mind Mickelmans, chat us instead. The cad with the Pope's wife, Lily Kinsella, who became the wife of Mr. Sneakers for her good name in the hands of the kissing solicitor, will now engage in attentions. Just a princh for tonight. Pale belly's our mild cure, back and streaky nine-pace. The fix off Bully's Acre was got up by Sully, the Boot Lane Brigade, and she had a certain medicine brought her in a licensed victualler's bottle. Shame. Thrice shame. We are advised the waxy is at the present in the sweep's hospital, and that he may never come out. Only look through your leather box one day with PCQ about 432, or at 8 and 22.5, with the court of Scythians, masters, and clerk, and the bevy hum of Marie reparatrices, for a good all-round simp Powdericks purge. Full view, to be surprised to see under the grand piano Lily on the sofa, and a lady pulling a low, and then he'd begin to jump a little bit to find out what goes on when love walks in beside the solicitor's business by kissing and looking into a mirror. That we were treated not very grand when the police and everybody is all bowing to us when we go out in all directions on Wantalon Road with my Cubularo glide. And personably speaking, they can make their bow to my ouse, as Hilary Allen sang to the Open Nine Nighters. Item. We never were chained to a chair, and bite 'em. No widower whathersoever followed us about with a fork on Yanks killing day. Meet a great civilian, proud lives to him, who is gentle as a mushroom and very affectable when he always sits forenext for us for his wet while to all whom it may concern. Sully is a thug from all he drunk, though he is a rattling fine bootmaker in his profession. Would we were here here ether to lodge our complaint on Sergeant Larrissony, in consequence of which in such steps taken his health would be constably broken into potter's pants, which would be the change of his life by a Noel Welshon, which has been ox-belled out of his Crispianity. Well, our talks are coming to be resumed by more polite conversation with 100% human over the natural bestness of pleasure after his good few mugs of humberdum and shag. While for whoever likes that urogonal pan of cakes, one apiece, it is thanks, beloved, to Adam, our former first Finlater, and our groceress Churcher, as per Griffith's variations for his beautiful cross-mess parcel. Well, we simply like their dem cheeks, the Rathgarys, wagging here about their rhythms and in me amphibid, and he being as bothered that he possibly could by the fourth of Hampty Damp. Certified reformed peoples, we may add to this stage, are properly saying to quite agreeable deef. Here gives your answer, pigs and scuts. Hence we've lived in two worlds. Here's another, he what stays under the himp of Hulth. The here-waker of our hame fame is his real namesame, who will get himself up and erect, confident and heroic, when but young as of old, for my daily comfressional, a wee one, woos.
Alma Luvia Polabella. P.S. Soldier's Rolo sweetheart. And she's about fed it up now with nonsery reams, and rigs out in regal rooms with the Ritzes. Rags, worn out. But she's still her decuman amber too. Soft morning, city. Lisp. I am leafy spurfring. Lupf. Flotty and flotty. All the nights have fallen on to long my hair. Not a sound, falling, lisping. No wind, no word. Only a leaf, just a leaf, and then leaves. The woods are fond always, as were we their babes in. The robins and crews so. It is for me Goulden wending. Unless away. Rise up, man of the hoofs, and have slept so long, or is it only so meslims on your pondered palm, recline from cape to petty, with pipe on bowl, tress for a fiddler, sixth for make merries, none for a coal. Rise up now and a ruse. Novenia's over. I am leafy, you're golden, so you called me. May me life, yea, you're golden. Sylvie me solve, exo geringer. You did so drool. I am so charm. But there's a great poet in you too. Stout Stokes would take you awfully. So has he as bored me to slump, but am good and rested. Tax to you, toddy tan ye. Ya ha ya wa wa. Help not to mine, help us vin. Here in your shirt, the day one, come back. The stock, your collar. Also your doubles brogus, a comforter as well. And here your involer and ever the less your umber. And stand up tall, straight. I want to see you looking fine for me, with your brand new big green belt and all, blooming in the very lotus and second to nil. Bud, when you're in the bulky shuit, Rosenshall Sharonol's near did for you. 57 and 3, Kosh, with the bulge. Proud purse I'll be with his Poraroon Aaron, Thale, Pride, comf- Comfy Taousness, Envy. You make me think of a wonder deck I once, or some bolt thy sight sailder, the man me gallant with a bangled ears. Or an earl was he, at Lucian? Or no, it's the Iron Dukes I mean. Or some bray heirs from the dark countries. Come and let us. We always said we'd, and go abroad. Rathgrainy way perhaps. The child her are still fast. There is no school today. Them boys in so contrary. The head does be worrying himself. He'll troubled and he'll travel. Gulliver and Gulliver. Unless the changings by mistake, I see the likes in the twinkling of an eye. Some, so oft, sim, time after time. The sem asnu, two breeder as Dofford as Norse and Son. When one of him sighs and one of him cries, 'tis you all over. No peace at all. Maybe it's those two old crony aunts held them out to the waterfront. Queer Miss Quick Enough and odd Miss Don de Pebble. And when them two has had a good few, there isn't much more dirty clothes to publish. From the Laundersdale Menicians, old chap googling the Holy Boys thingabib, and this lad wedding his widow. You were pleased as Punch, reciting war's exploits and pierce orations to them jacking gapers. But that night after, all you were wanton, bidding me do this and that and the other, and blowing off to me hugely Judcius, what wouldn't you give to have a girl? You wish was me will, and lo, out of a sky, the way I too, but her, you wait, eager to choose is left for her shade. If she had only more matcher's wit, finelings make runaways, runaways astray. She's a merry as the Greek still. Twould be sore should laden sorrow. I'll wait, and I'll wait, and then if all goes, what will be is.
But let them, slops Hosbotch and the slusky slut too. He's for thee what she's for me, dogging you round cove and haven and teaching me the perts of speech. If you spun your yarns to him on the swishbark waves, I was spelling my yearns to her over cottage cake. Will not disturb their sleeping duties. Let besoms be bosuns, it's Phoenix, dear, and the flame is here. Let's our journey Saint Michael make it, since the loss of fire has lost and the book of the depth is closed. Come, step out of your shell, hold up your free fing. Yes, we've light enough. I won't take our laddie's lantern, for them four old windbags of gusts so fairy to be blowing at, nor you your ruck sunk, to bring all the Danny Mans out after you on the hike. Send Arthur Giddis is sift, it is the softest morning that ever I can ever remember me. But she won't rain showerly, our Ilma, yet until it's the time, and me and you have made the sons of bursters one in the game. Still I'll take me old Finvara for my shoulders. The trout will be so fine at brookfished, with a taste of roly polyny from blood puddles after, to bring out the tang of the tay. Is it you fain for a roost brood? Oxmeal turn all out of the wool palls, and then all the chippy young cuppin jars cluttering round us, cluttering for their creams, crying me, grown up sister, are me not truly? Little stony but there's a but, you must buy me a fine new girdle too, Nolly. When next you go to market Norwal, they're all saying I need it since the one from Isaacson slooped its line. Murk, fie art thou, come, give me your great bear's paw patter of ilky full a miny tiny dola. Mine nicey hensy in the languo flows, that's Jorgen Jargenson's. But you understood, notst? I always know by your brights and shades, reach down a little mo, so draw back your glaive, hot and hairy, hug on is your hand. Here's where the falskin begins, smooth as the infam's. One time you told you'd been burnt in ice, and one time it was chemicaled after you taking a likeness. Maybe that's why you hold your hod as if, and people thinks you miss the scaffold of fell design. I'll close my eyes so not to see, or see only a youth in his florizel, a boy in innocence peeling a twig, a child beside a weeny white steed. The child we all love to place our hope in forever. All men has done something. Be the time they've come to the weight of old Fletch, we'll lave it so. We will take our walk before in the temple they ring the earthly bells. In the church by the hearse yard, Pax Goodman's will, or the birds start their tree-sturm shindy. Look, there are yours off, high on high, and world and couches Sweet good luck, they're cawing you cool. You see they're as white as the riven snay for us. Next Peter's poll you will be elicited, or I'm not your elicitous bribe. The Kinsella woman's man will never reduce me. A McGareth O'Culloch go Merc McFuney, Stuka doodling and sweep etch keeping round the lodge of Fionn Nagala of the trumpets. It's like potting the pro to sham on the dresser or tamming Uncle Tim's cobbin onto the brows of a vicar eagle. Not such big strides, huddy fuddy. You'll crush me antelopes I saved so long for their pinasoles, and the two goodiest shoes. Shoes. It is hardly a nut's mile or 7 possum bots. It is very good for the health of a morning with bois bois, a gentle motion all around as leisure paces, and the help yourself to a strool cures easy. It seems so long ago since, ages since, as if you had been long far away. Afar todays, a fear tonights, and me is with you in the dark. You will tell me some time if I can believe it's all. You know where I am bringing you? You remember when I ran bearing after hucks and haws, with you drawing out great aims to hazel me from the hummock with your sling, our cries. I could lead you there, and I still by you in bed. Let's go duck to Dane Grevin knows, not a soul but ourselves. Time, we have loads on our hangs.
Kilgilligan and Halligan call again to Hooligan, and the rest of the guns. Sulligan ate from left to right, Ollo Bobo, ye foxy thiegs. The Moscows thought to bawl you out, or the walled unicorn's master, bugly captain from the Knoll, drawls up by the door with the Honourable Wilp and the Reverend Pointer and the two lady pageants of Tullyhaw, Ballyhuntus, and in their riddle-tight raiding hats, for to lift a here's health to their robust, the stag, Evers the Carlton Hart. And you didn't host out with your duck and your duty, cap a pole, while they reach him the glass he never starts to finish. Clap this whiss on your pole, and stick this in your ear, Wiggly. Beauties don't answer, and the rich never pays. If you worthy and large, they'd hue and cry you Heathtown, Harperstown, Snowtown, Fornox, Flemingtown, Boadingtown, to the ford of Fine on Delvin. How they house you after the Platonic garlands. And all because, loosed in her reflexes, she's seen Eri Cory Com huntsome with his 3 poached dogs, a-leashing him. But you came safe through. Enough of that horn a corner. And old Mother Goosip? We might call on the old lord. What do you say? There's something tells me he is a fine sport, like the score, and a mighty went before him, and a proper old promontory, his door always open for a new era's day, much as your own is. You invoiced him last Easter, so he ought to give us hot cockles and everything. Remember to take off your white hat, when we come in